You could argue that it's blasphemy to complain when you're lucky enough to fly business class. We kind of agree. It's a great privilege to power through the skies at 40,000 feet while sipping champagne and watching movies in a flat position.
But then again, you also do pay a lot more to get this seat, so maybe it is okay to complain just a little bit, right? Come along and let us know your thoughts on our business class experience.
I've never ever had so much luggage for a flight before.
Me neither.
We're truly not minimalist.
Azul is one of the biggest airlines in South America, with more than 140 destinations. We paid 1,700 euros per round-trip business class ticket. Each business class ticket allows 3 checked bags. That means we could have traveled with 6 of these in addition to carry-ons and backpacks.
And since Brazil is amazing for shopping, it's seriously worth considering taking advantage of this. Less impressive is the check-in procedure for passengers flying business class. There is something special about jumping the line. Not jumping, but paying to jump the line. Normally you get priority with a fast check-in, and they do have a line for business class passengers, but it seems to also be for all sorts of non-business passengers. For example, here there was a big group of young people that somehow kept cutting us off even though they were not flying business. And after 15 minutes we were told we were in the wrong line. We are in the wrong place? Apparently. How are we in the wrong place though?
Oh, now we are in the right line, and they still take the blue shirts before us.
They're very laissez-faire about these little things in terms of business class and economy. It's like it's all just mixed in together. It's like so far from the last trip we had, it was basically the seat that made the difference.
40 minutes went by before our bags were finally dropped off and our tickets issued.
Efter jeg er blevet hippie, så er det virkelig irriterende med alle de her krystaller og smykker. Namaste. They claim that there's Wi-Fi on the plane.
But it won't work.
How much do you want to bet that there's no Wi-Fi that works?
I don't want to bet because I don't think it's going to work. It rarely does, but it would be amazing if it did.
I'm not trying to be negative. Just saying, airplane Wi-Fi. I mean, they can put people on the moon, but they can't make Wi-Fi in the planes that works.
Moment of truth. The first flight from Florianopolis to Campinas airport just outside Sao Paulo is a short 1-hour flight. On a domestic flight like this, we of course didn't expect much of a business class experience. But we did wonder why we weren't automatically given a seat in the very front of the airplane. Anyway, the plane was nice and new. We were on an Embraer E2-195, which is a Brazilian plane. As an airplane enthusiast, I was quite impressed with the plane, to be honest. It felt just as solid as an Airbus. In Campinas airport, we arrived in the terminal for domestic flights.
It's the most confusing airport. You have to leave the terminal, like to go through security and everything, and access the international terminal.
Obrigada.
Although the plane was almost ready for boarding, we made a quick visit to the Azul lounge. It was massive. Ironically enough, there were only 2 planes departing that day. There was a decent selection of beverages and finger food, although it wasn't very delicious. The wine was undrinkable and the food tasted synthetic and heavily processed. I did enjoy the Stella Artois beer though.
It was a very short visit in here, but it was a nice visit.
And this lounge here is pretty good actually. It's humongous. I mean, it's like almost like a warehouse where they're selling furniture. I mean, pick the one you want.
After 20 minutes of lounging, it was time to board. Once again, the perks of flying business class were hard to identify, as we were waiting 20 minutes before allowed boarding.
Time to fly, the fun is starting.
Finally, this time we got the love seat, huh?
The love seat. The odd number is the love seat. So if you want privacy and you're traveling alone, you take 2, 4, 6, or 8. But this is nice. I would not be a fan of this if I was traveling next to a stranger. Oh, okay.
Very nice. I found like nuts and water all over my seat, and a little salt bag. I think some coconut as well.
So basically they didn't clean your seat or what?
No, but she said she would come to clean it. I had already cleaned most of my seat here, but it was filled with old snacks and trash. Why would they not have cleaned the seat?
From Sao Paulo to Lisbon, we're looking at 10 hours. It's a night flight. The sun is setting as we speak, but the cold champagne is also being served. With the mood high, it was time to enjoy some champagne, but not at my seat, since the table wasn't working properly.
You enjoying your window seat?
I might actually sit here for the entire flight. Two kind workers made an effort to fix it, but with no luck. The table was still kind of usable, so it wasn't really a big issue.
It was time for takeoff to our destination, Lisbon, Portugal. A 10-hour flight with 6:42 a.m. being the estimated time of arrival. 30 minutes after takeoff, we were handed the menu.
On a quick glance, it all looked fine, but since we already had experienced the food on our first flight from Lisbon to Sao Paulo, our hopes weren't exactly high.
I ordered the herb grilled chicken in white sauce with lemon and tarragon, multigrain rice, carrot and peas. Jon chose the 4-cheese ravioli in white sauce with cashews and cherry tomatoes.
While waiting for the dinner to be served, let's talk about the onboard entertainment. Normally, I don't really care for it since I use my laptop for all of that, but I was still curious. As always, you have plenty of shows and movies, but it was generally old stuff. There were no recent blockbusters, and as far as TV shows, it was basically pointless to watch. Each show had 1 or 2 episodes, and always from a random season, so you couldn't really binge watch a full show. Just had a sip of this wine, which is allegedly a French one.
It's sweet though, very sweet.
It's sweet wine, it's barely drinkable. I truly did my best, but the white wine was like drinking lukewarm dessert wine from a bottle that had been open for a couple of months.
One of the most disappointing aspects of Azul's business class product is the food. Warm food is always served wrapped in kitchen foil, which doesn't exactly add anything to the presentation, nor the actual taste. Just like our first flight, the food was horrendously bad. We've flown economy most of our life, so we are quite familiar with airplane food. But this was worse than Ryanair. The dishes were cold in the middle and burning hot on the edges.
The red wine is definitely better than the white wine, but I'm still not impressed. It doesn't seem to be quality red wine. Yeah, honestly, I'm suspicious to the point where I'd like to see the bottles. Anyway, I'll have a beer instead and enjoy that.
However, this tropical banana cheesecake was not too bad. This tastes wonderful.
Although our bellies and taste buds were deeply dissatisfied, we were still feeling happy and comfortable in our seats. 3 hours into the flight, we prepared our beds. The seat itself is spacious and comfortable, and generally what has become an industry standard for most business class products. Although plentiful, the amenity kit felt cheap. We normally always take the business class amenity kits with us home, but this one was left behind. With 5 hours left of the flight, it was time to sleep.
At breakfast, my conclusion of the service was final. It was terrible. For some reason, my flight attendant kept ignoring me the entire flight. The few times I was able to get her attention, she never came through on my requests. When I ordered a Coke, she didn't bring it. When I asked for an orange juice, she said there was none left. I ordered breakfast, but she said none was left. I had to go through Jon's flight attendant, who then brought me breakfast.
And while mine was alright, it was an incredibly impersonal service. It felt robotic and cold. Flying business class for us is all about service. Most of our business class flights have been with Qatar Airways, where the staff is always insanely friendly and caring. We didn't experience any of that on Azul.
Anyway, the breakfast was not entirely terrible.
Being able to sleep like a baby for 4 hours is truly amazing.
I just said the same
You
when
did?
I woke up, exact same.
That's what makes all this worth the extra money. Are we the first out of the airplane, Amelia?
No, second.
Second out of the airplane. Although we were first to arrive at the belt, we were the last to receive our luggage. One more. Our last suitcase hasn't arrived. All priority bags have been delivered. It was our third and last piece of luggage that didn't arrive until 40 minutes later. We got it. But yeah.
It even says priority, but we got it like 35 minutes after.
Yeah. Okay. Well, crisis kind of averted.
So yeah, that was a lot of complaining. Is it really the worst business class seat ever? Not really. In fact, the seat itself is quite good, but it's also the only thing that makes the Azul business class experience anything resemblant of an actual business class. So it's not the worst business class seat ever, but perhaps the worst business class product.
Azul seems incapable of living up to all the little things that altogether makes up the reason why you willingly pay 4 or 5 times the price of an economy ticket. The fast and convenient luggage check-in, the fast lane through security, the delicious food and impressive wine cart, and the smiling faces every inch of the way.
So, would we fly Azul again? Probably yes. Why, you might wonder? Because Azul generally is much cheaper than the competitors, and in the end, at least for us, we fly business because of the actual seat. Arriving to your final destination well rested is what really matters.
Fresh Lisbon air. Whew. Feels good to be home.